I'm Rosa Mendez, and I'm here at the #1 Long Island broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. I had the best time ever!
Hey, listen, Daddy, you're listening to the #1 broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh, Daddy, in Long Island. The best pro wrestling broadcast of all time, I think.
Jimmy, I got to tell you, man, it feels good to be back on YouTube. It was quite disappointing what happened to us, but we bounced back fairly quickly.
Well, what else would we do? We're almost at 5,000 subscribers.
Well, speaking of that, man, we need more members.
Okay.
What do you think we need to do to get the people of those 5,000 subscribers to come on and join the team as a Monte The Pharaoh member?
Nudity is out of the question. Any other ideas?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do have a few ideas.
Well, just like Prel, they should tell 2 friends, and they could tell 2 friends, and so on and so on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Check out all our content.
But that's, you know what? That's why you're the star of the show, because guess what? Members get special content. Even we spoke about it. Pharaoh came to me one day and he goes, man, what's the deal? I can't even watch some of these videos because I'm not a member. And I said, there you go, Pharaoh. You got to be a member because this is what the members get. They get free content
Nice.
that none of the other fans that watch this show get.
That's right.
You get free autographs from some of these wonderful stars that come in, right?
Nice.
All you do is you go to the MNP webpage, or right, our own page, and shoot us an email and say, hey, man, I want a picture of Tommy Rich. I want a picture of whatever. And boy, that's on its way.
We give them their choice.
That's right.
We rock.
We do rock.
And you need to rock too. Join.
Hey, on the first show, you had mentioned you hurt your back and stuff like that. And one thing I wanted to share with you, dude, is see this wallet?
Yeah.
This
you
is
mean
my
like, wait,
wallet.
hold on. You mean like this big lumpy one that I sit on?
Yeah, pull that thing out.
Dude, this thing's the fucking eyesore of the world. Everything is, where's the camera? See, I'm just like you. Look at this. It's got like hair things sticking out of it because it's so old and withered. And everything I put into it, watch what I could do with it. Hey!
Exactly. It's flimsy.
Everything falls the fuck out. Now, this is my fault, by the way, because I can't seem to find a decent wallet. Do you have any tips?
Well, it's funny you brought that up,
This is
man.
ridiculous.
And this is why we've got
Get
back
outta here.
problems. So for old men like us, and even for young people, I ran into this company called Ridge, right?
Okay.
Ridge.
I like the name. to begin with.
RIDGE, right?
Yeah.
Look at this wallet, right? Carries everything you need, right? And look at this.
Compact.
It's compact, and just like
Okay.
this, you push
Okay.
down, you
Yeah,
fan it
yeah.
out. You need a credit card. I got to pay for something. Just that
Oh.
easy. I go pay it. Boom. Put it right back in. And
You
guess
mean
what?
You can just flip out and have multiple choice that easy.
That easy. Look how easy this is.
Wow.
And you know how stupid I am. You see how easy that was to fan out just like that, man?
Yeah.
Look at that, dude.
I'm stupider, but yeah, I get it. Okay.
And then you got
awesome.
the cash right on the back here. And
Nice.
guys, look, this episode is sponsored by Ridge. And if you use the promo code YouTube10, that's YouTube 10,
Okay.
you receive 10% off any Ridge product. Guys, I'm telling you, man, look at the difference. Look at the difference. You've got to use Ridge. Monte and the Pharaoh are telling you, please support Monte the Pharaoh. And guess what? They've got other cool stuff. Because I'm an asshole, I just dropped it. Hold on.
It's all the way over there. Oh, no.
Only Monte will do this, folks. They
Wait,
also sell.
How's your back? You okay picking that thing up?
Well, since I've been using Ridge, my back is like 100% better.
Right.
Also, dude, check this out.
There
From
it is.
Ridge, I ordered this.
What
Right?
do
I
you
know
got?
you're recently married, right?
Yeah.
24 karat gold plated ring. Look how beautiful that thing is. Right? Ridge.com. Again, use YouTube 10 to receive 10% off. And guess what? If you're a working man and you're working with electric, you don't want to be using gold. You want to burn yourself. They also come with a nice rubber ring that you can wear.
They got
Because
those
we all know the
black
wives.
ones. Yeah,
That's
nice.
right. And the wives don't want to, they get pissed off if you stop using their shit, right? Or showing you married because then some hot girl, she doesn't see you married, she's jumping all over your shit.
Oh,
Especially
wonderful.
especially if you're using the Ridge wallet, dude.
Nice.
Look at that.
Does
Look how thin that thing is, Jimmy.
Does it come in different colors and stuff? I mean, that's perfect.
You know what? You're brilliant. And guess what they just came out with? NFL team ridges.
Ooh.
So if you're a Jet fan and you want to show your Jet color, or you're a Yankee fan, you can wear your Yankee fan ridge.
Okay.
So anyway, I recommend that, and
very nice. Well,
we hopefully
thank you to Ridge.
Thank you to Ridge. I agree.
Thank you very much.
Without being insulting,
No.
it was not the experience that we all thought it was going to be. Where does it come from? How does it start?
Man.
And where does it go wrong?
The worst pay-per-view in the history of wrestling.
What an honor.
In the history of wrestling.
Here's the mess, guys. Here's the messed up thing, though. Why do I still watch it and get a kick out of it? What is wrong with me? There's got to be something wrong with me that I find it.
No, Jimmy. It's a little bit different because
it's way different, to be very honest.
No. Now you got to know, and this is what pisses me off about this fucking Meltzer and everybody else that had some bad mouthing of it.
Yeah.
What did you think? These guys were coming out in their prime? And when Nicola and I did a promo for a local news station in Baltimore, the news anchor hit the nail on the head. So he said, Nikolai, so this is a senior store for wrestling. It's like, yes, you're not going to see these guys in their prime, but look, all the years, because in one of the descriptions in the Torch, it said, she could hardly walk. Yeah, you know why? Because he gave his body up, asshole, all those years, and he did have a problem. But this was an opportunity. It's not just about the money. These guys performed, and they wanted another chance. And actually, Bill Stone was going to give them that chance until we'll get into it, what happened. But it's like, what did you think they were going to do? Run down the aisle, leap over the top rope, and start cartwheeling? Come on.
I've never been one to block my true feelings on anything, and I respect the hell out of both of you. So coming from a classic Mark fan, whatever term you want to use for me, I watched that back in '99, and everything that you're pointing out, I've heard people. None of that bothered me. Here's the bottom line. If Jake the Snake doesn't start acting like his snake is his penis and doesn't come out and do what he does, this would have been just another pay-per-view that tried to show you that once upon a time there were some great wrestlers. Enjoy them while they're still doing something. But I feel like Jake is the one that ruined the whole fucking thing. Am I wrong to say that?
No, because I tell you
Something
what.
more right if you tried.
I flew with Bill Stone back to Baltimore. Because he was going to DC, I was going to Baltimore, and the pre-show meeting, he said, "Look, I don't want none of this X at the crotch. I don't want to hear suck it. Just do what you used to do. I don't want to do any of that vulgar stuff. Let's just be old school wrestling." And that was, everybody understood it. I don't know what the hell happened with Roberts, but you saw him walking to the ring, and it is described accurately in some of these old reports. He was staggering. He almost didn't make it up the ramp. And then when he grabbed the snake and looked like he was working with his penis, it's like, oh, and I was in the production truck when it was like, oh my God, no. And they tried to cut it, but of course, you can't catch a bullet once it's fired. Boom, too late.
They had 11 minutes of dead air. If it wasn't rest in peace for King Kong Bundy, he came in there and he saved a lot of it. Nikita couldn't be more right if he tried. We had talked with Bill Stone. This was a beginning. They only drew a 29,000 buy rate, but it was something to build upon. Everybody else did their job, goddammit. But when Jake did that, and when Mike Henry was made the scapegoat, that was one of the biggest injustices. Mike Henry did his job. For every dollar they paid him, he owned 10. Quote me on that.
Absolutely. And now look, they had T-shirts, hats, which I own. Right. I have them. Any other indie promotion do that? No, this was going to be something that's why they made Lou Albano the commissioner. This was going to be something that was going to carry on, maybe bi-monthly, maybe monthly. but
Look,
it's like you're not going to be competing with Stone Cold and The Rock and
yeah,
men.
okay, but Nikita, I think for fans that don't know about this event, right? Jimmy and I
Yeah.
obviously do.
Yeah.
How does it start? Who comes up with this idea, and what is the ultimate plan? And who are the players? How does this all come about?
Well, the ultimate plan, they were going to get Nick Bockwinkel, but that fell through. I'm not
Now,
sure why.
Now to Nikita, to make it clear, Bill Stone was basically the Vince McMahon of what he was trying to build, correct?
Well, he was coming in out of the cold. He was trying to get this promotion to go. So, okay,
Right.
put Vince's title on him. He was writing the checks.
I'm
This
just
was the
saying
money
he's
man.
the guy. He's the guy behind the curtain.
Yes, he definitely was calling the shots.
Okay, so
he relied, like Fred said, well, Mike O'Brien, right, was the booker.
Okay,
that's
right,
correct.
Fred? Right, Mike O'Brien. Now he was a young guy out of Connecticut. He had experience. He knew what he was doing. But then, when it comes time to do the main event, Jim Neidhart says, "I'm not going out. I want another $1,000." And it's like, what the fuck?
Blackmail.
What are we going to do now?
Well,
and he's like, and I'm not doing the job because I'm getting ready to go back to WWF. And it's like, Bundy stepped in and said, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck. I'll do it. Of course, he was a stand-up guy. You got to give him that. He definitely,
Yes,
hey, look, he started out at, a lot of guys did, but he started out the low rung of the ladder. The Von Erichs really brought him in and made it something. He was ready to step in, and he did. And then it was sort of.
Wait a minute. So you guys have this pay-per-view. Neidhart's in the main event, and right before it, he says, "I want another $1,000."
Yep.
Like
Yes,
the
he
ultimate
did.
like the Ultimate Warrior before SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
I won't shake the ropes otherwise.
They had
Right.
to write him a check, and it was like, okay, but I'm not doing the job. He said, I'm not.
Did you guys have advanced contracts with the talent you would sign? Like you'll be here for the next year, yada yada.
Not a year, just for that night.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a per diem contract. Bundy was a stand-up guy. To this day, his brother, who's still alive, they have a used car lot in Sewell, New Jersey. And if you go in there, it's like a museum. But Bundy was a stand-up guy. He was friendly. He was the second guy, other than Nikolai, who came into this house. His wife Joyce, who he was married to at the time, nice little Filipino woman, got along well with my wife Jenny. He was okay.
If I can ask, who was in charge of the locker room that night? Because I have to be
Michael
honest.
Bryan.
I mean, how does somebody not walk over to Jake and say, "You are not going out there, and I'll fucking knock you out if you think you are"? Like, didn't anybody like realize his condition? Was everybody high that night? I mean, I know you, Mike. I'm pretty sure you would have been like, Jimmy, the whole show's going to go down the shitter if we let this drunken, wasted guy go out there right now.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Did anybody talk to him? Anybody? There was big names. You guys had, look, on the surface again, as a wrestling fan, I was not expecting a cartwheel fest. I knew who these guys were. I grew up loving them, so I knew what I was going to be seeing. Nothing bothered me except Jake. We still talk about it because of Jake. You poor gentlemen have to defend yourselves. Maybe that's too strong a word because it's not your fault that this happened, but my God, where was that veteran to walk up to him and go, Jake, you're fucking crocked. Stay in the back. You failed tonight. And no, you're not getting paid either.
Nobody. I don't look. They were last. They went on last. Everybody else that was done was off doing their own thing, heading for the casino because that's where it was. Casino Magic, which is gone. It's obliterated off the map due to the storms. But no, nobody that I saw walked up to Jake Roberts and said, "Hey, look, this isn't a good idea."
That's right.
I don't think Mike O'Brien felt strong enough that he would get in the face with this legend.
Well,
that wasn't going to happen.
I mean, honestly, and look, I don't know. I'm not in the business. We talk about the business, but that's why I learned from gentlemen like yourselves. The first thing I thought when you told me who the booker was I'm sure he had local independent experience. I'm sure he did. But I'm thinking to myself right away, he's got some big sharks he's booking. Jake the Snake Roberts is a big shark. Many of the guys, almost every single name on the card was a big shark in this business at one point or another. How's this kid going to be able to, the Jets recently got rid of Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh cannot talk to Aaron Rodgers with a straight face and tell him something that's right or wrong. It's not going to work.
Now, everybody was eager, so I don't think they anticipated a problem of this nature. Otherwise, you
Right.
would have brought in somebody like Jake's father, Grizzly Smith, who used to run locker
Right.
rooms and would
You-
knock you on your ass if you
Yeah, you
didn't
might
behave.
need Bear Bryant, unfortunately, in this situation with Jake.
There's another point that has to be injected. Back
Sure.
in those days, there are a lot of people. This was before the smoke it, swallow it generation. A lot of those people in that age demographic worked drunk. Some of
Right.
them did it to
Right.
allegedly hide the pain due to an orthopedic condition or something. But there were plenty of guys who had a fifth of courage before they went into the squared circle. The thing with Jake is Jake wasn't drunk; he was sloshed. He would have breathalyzer. Jesus, he would have set a new record. And I
Oh,
agree with you; he should have been pulled. Tragically, he wasn't, and it cost a lot of people. We had a future there, goddammit. We had a future there. It was perfect for the guys that went in there as true professionals. The Mess brothers schlepped their ring all the way from Pennsylvania. We had a future. If
So,
that had gone the way it wanted to go, Fostone would be alive.
so let me ask you this, Fred. You're still around the business. When you see Jake Roberts to this day, did he ever apologize for that? I mean,
He
he
doesn't think
found
he did anything wrong.
well, there you
He
go.
doesn't
so.
think he did anything wrong. And
There it is.
I'm courteous, professional courtesy. Hi, how are you? Good that they have the loose handshake in wrestling because that's all he'd ever
Well,
get from
Fred,
me.
at some point, I mean, did you ever
Yeah.
come across him and say, "Hey, man, you really fucked everybody out of a lot of money"? Did you ever bring it up to him or anything like that?
I will confess to you that I did not. I
Okay.
don't think I could have said it civilly because I
Right.
was too
Yeah.
angry. It wasn't
Oh,
for
yeah.
me. I had my real job. But a lot of these guys, where that was their bread and butter, they had a great opportunity there. A great opportunity. You had a promoter with deep pockets. You had somebody that was enthusiastic about it. You had a promotional crew. You had people like Nikita that were working there. It could have been great. It could, like Marlon Brando said, I could have been a champion.
And they had some young talent. They had Two Cold Scorpion and they had Julio De Niro.
Julio De
They're going to
Niro.
bring in some
Julio De
young ones as well,
Niro.
you know?
Wow.
And yeah, and it's like
I
it
haven't
wasn't
heard that
just
in a
going to be
while.
dinosaurs. It was
Right.
he was going to develop other talent. But after that, and then there was a lot of thievery, not by the boys, but people with the cable. And the poor man, I don't know if he broke
Right.
even even.
I don't
Right.
even know if he knew what the accurate buy rate
Right.
was,
Guy,
but when we were going home on our plane, which went into Philadelphia, Lou Albano was on it, Snooker was on it, I was on it, and one of the other two. And we were all in the same section. And from the minute we took off to the minute we landed, you could have heard a pin drop because everybody was depressed. We said our one goodbye hugs. My wife got to meet Lou Albano, whom I had known for years,
right.
got in the car and went home. And then got up the next day and started to read the ridicule. And it pissed me off because nobody seemed to want to ferret out the truth.
But you know
Jake
what the bottom
Roberts is
line is?
blameworthy. Quote me on that.
It's like going to Yankee Stadium and booing at an old timers game. Have some damn respect, especially if you're making money off the asses of these men and women. Son of a bitch. Have some dignity at least.
Well,
There was no respect.
No
unfortunately,
respect.
that's one of the reasons why my partner and myself have been called bullies because of basically what you just said. That was one of the most selfish, self-centered acts. And
Yes.
you know what? I got to ask them, Mike, and please forgive me for asking this question, but once upon a time, you both incredibly knowledgeable, people, our guest tonight, which I'm so grateful to have. You guys were fans. Now, has the business over the years, because Mike and I would
Jimmy,
never.
you're. I gotta just interrupt. You're a mind reader because that's exactly what I was. Keep going.
Well,
Keep
Mike,
going.
that's why we've been friends for 43 years, basically, and wrestling has been one of the most important parts of our friendship. And I'm proud to say that now. It's true, we did have to hide that back in 1982. But since you guys were both fans, and then you get in the business and you see how, look, as a fan, it's precious just being a fan because you don't know about, especially back in the day when it was real. Thank you. You didn't look at them and want to know every last thing about them and their negative side and stuff. That's why, thank God, when my father passed away, his hero was Joe DiMaggio. Thank God Joe DiMaggio had not been, oh, and he did this and he did that. And, Joe DiMaggio died a hero to my father. There's a baseball card in his pocket where he rests to this day. Did it change you guys as far as wrestling? Because as I would never trade the memories I've had with Mike doing this show, it has jaded me.
And let me just, I got to add one other thing, Jimmy. So
Sure.
I'm a huge Vince McMahon Jr. guy, right?
Yeah.
As a businessman,
I am too.
right? And when you talk about this, and I'm reading the list of characters you have at this event, right?
Right.
And again, for Jim Neidhart to break a deal right when he knows your back is against it, and then you got a guy like Yokozuna, who's from this great Samoan family, and no one steps up for the common man like yourselves. When people bitch about Vince McMahon being a scumbag to these guys, you have no choice, because if you give them an inch, they're going to take it all.
They'll take a mile.
Now it's you guys, all you guys. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Fred.
Well, let's put it like this. In the very famous movie, Miracle on 34th Street, when R.H. Macy is on the stand, his key line is, "You cannot argue with success." And that's true. And people are jealous of success. And if they can't find themselves a berth, should I talk about Vince Russo? Should I talk about John Arezzi? Should I talk about Nikita Brezhnikov? How many people envied him? Oh, I could do it better. No, you couldn't. You're just jealous that he's doing it. When you talk about vocal, when I got into it, I was a kid in a candy store. And I loved it. And I stay active in it. And I'll be talking to Nikita about this, because we are going to do a series of shows in New Jersey. And I think I know a Russian who's in need of guidance.
Beautiful.
I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
I formed friendships. Nikita, Chris Ronquillo, one of the finest men that ever wore shoe leather. I was even friendly with Buddy Rogers, not to that extent. Arnold Skolin, some names I've mentioned. Meeting you two guys, meeting guys that are on the level, that have the foresight, that have the desire for curiosity, that want to go behind the headline. Anybody can make up a headline for shock value. My God, the New York Post has been doing it for years, and the Daily News before that. That's what gets people to plunk down their money and buy the paper. Then when they read the article, it's like taking off the bra and finding out that what you thought were 38 double Ds are 32 A minus.
What do I do? And what do I do with that information? God, I hate the media. Anyway.
Well, exactly. It's information that's designed to fill. But we looked at it. If you ever saw Nikita work, if you ever saw his ethic, we never went on the side and started giggling. We never stepped out of gimmick. Not until we were well past the gorilla position when we went backstage. That's the way we were trained, when kayfabe was religion. And while elements of it have perished, there are still elements of it. No skyscraper can stand without a foundation. And that's what Nikita Brezhnikov has. Again, I put my heart to that because it's the gospel.
Thank you. You see the problem with this internet, these kids that don't know what's going on, they badmouth Vince because that's what you do now, is badmouth Vince. They didn't see him like we did. They were still either they weren't born yet, or they were watching Barney eating their own boogers when Vince was doing his thing. And now, because you're supposed to badmouth him, they badmouth him. Hey, I've heard people that should be a little bit more savvy say, well, Vince McMahon should have had a pension plan. He should have had health care for these guys. It's like, you're independent contractors, asshole. What part do you not get about that? I'm one. When I go work jobs for people, I don't figure I'm going to be on your payroll and you're going to give me a pension. No, that's it. I'm here for the night. Give me the money and I'm gone. That's it. I'm talking acting.
So, Nikita, let me ask you this question then. So I agree with you on that. So then, in that case, do you kind of agree that Jim Neidhart had that right to go, you know what? I got these guys against their back against the wall. I'm an independent guy. Now you're going to have to pay me.
No, because he should. I can't testify because I come from a background of law. So if I don't see it, I can't say it. I don't know what his contract was, but I know what I witnessed when he was there saying it.
And he signed his contract. He was going to get what he agreed to take. So he didn't honor the contract. Him, he breached.
Yeah.
But it's like you're going to do that now. Everybody that works this business knows you don't do that shit when they're ready to walk. The music's playing. You don't start fucking around now. You'll deal with it later, or you should have dealt with it earlier.
So back to
Not
Jimmy's
now.
point then. Here you guys become your fans, and now you're in the industry, and you're legitimate players in the industry. When this is happening and you see this unfolding, you saw the Jake the Snake bullshit. Now he's doing this shit. Are you looking at the other wrestlers like, can someone do something here? Can someone straighten this guy out? Or is it like, whatever?
I knew that I knew the locker room etiquette better. Would I have thought it subliminally? Yes. Would I have thought it was going to happen? No way in hell. Because I know I knew the mentality, and some of it was very different from the mores that the four of us have formed over the years. Very
you
different.
said it, Fred. You said it like it was like a tomb riding back because everybody knew. I think people were looking for a bugle to play taps. They were watching it, the ship sinking right before their very eyes, and they had such high hopes that you're not going to be millionaires. But again, it's not just about the money. These men and women performed for years, and they wanted to do some more.
And let me ask you another question, consistent with what Nikita just raised. This was a quarter of a century ago. The whole show up until that point was as clean as newly laundered clothes. And all of a sudden, here he is with a make-believe phallic symbol massaging his main vein. What does the father tell their child?
Oh, forget it.
What do you see when it comes across the
Forget it.
screen?
Yeah.
How do you explain it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was clean. It was fun back then. And here's this guy wanking, whacking. Give me a break.
And before that happened, all this bad press that was given, you couldn't hear yourself talk because actually there was a little mistake in the match with the Bushwhackers because it was so loud. People were into it. They were loving what we were doing.
Right.
Because I actually announced that Sheik was going to do the clubs, but Nikolai couldn't hear because it was so loud. So he takes the mic and starts singing. Sheik's looking like, well, I'm supposed to do the clubs, so it was a little bit screwed up there. But it was that loud. People were into it.
Nikita, let me ask you this. Obviously, you were upset too about this when you sat down, or because you were friends with Nikolai. What did Nikolai say to you when you explained your experience or how upset you were?
First, he said, "Why you look at that bullshit? Who gives a fuck? What do they know? They never been in the ring one time." I said, "But Nikolai, this isn't right. You guys paid the price. You shouldn't be." And again, it's like booing at an old timers game at Yankee Stadium. Have some respect.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Was it the best performance of all time? No, but they were trying. They really were out there trying. Because, I mean, look at Abby's match with One Man Gang. I mean, I think Bill Stone was a little bit taken back by that, but it's like, okay.
I caught hell. That was my match.
Right. Fred was the right. And it's like, okay, but they're out there doing hardcore. Okay, we'll let that go. So they put it out. It wasn't like people were going through the motions. I mean, they bled buckets of blood that night. Okay, they were trying.
Oh,
And Sherry looked great. Sherry doing her thing with George Steele. I mean, come on.
Nikita, I wasn't really talking about that people were shitting on the show. I'm talking about that you had this legitimate opportunity, and I agree with you.
Oh.
If Jake doesn't do this, you have this opportunity. It's like a niche audience, but I think it could have grown. My question to you is: you're angry. Jake fucks it up, right? Do you turn to Nikolai and you're like, "What the fuck, Nick?" And does he say anything to you?
Well, he said the same thing that I would say to you right now. And I've been in two worlds, police and wrestling. Nobody can fuck it up better than they can for themselves. Believe me. All you got to do is give them the opportunity and they'll fuck it up. Never fails.
Yeah, these guys could mess up the wet dream.
I had to put the fist down. That's right. Exactly right, Jimmy.
There's another factor. Who might have been able to ameliorate things to a certain point? Sully had just developed his throat cancer.
Yeah.
Randy Rosenblum wouldn't know a headlock from a hammerlock.
I remember.
You had Dutch Mantel there a little bit. Randy was a nice guy, but he was not a wrestling guy. And he certainly wasn't somebody. I mean, Vince used to bring in Rod Trungard to do the matches from the Garden. He was fantastic. He had the thundering voice from ocean to ocean, coast to coast, mountain to mountain. And he set the table before serving the meal. But Rosenblum didn't know a thing. I mean, when I listened to it, when I got the DVD and I listened to it, I just wanted to say it wasn't supposed to turn into a comedy. Okay? It wasn't. Abby did his job. Abby and I always, from the first time he bladed me, he said, "Come here, I like kosher meat." And that was a joke after that. That's exactly what he said. But that night I was a little weary because I knew that he already bladed Gang with it. But I got to tell you something. Everything Nikita says is right. One person, one bad block in the wall can cause the wall to crumble. Fosstone production should have been a beginning. It shouldn't have been a fait accompli. And that's what Jake made it. If you listen, I hope you're fucking well proud of yourself.
And Vince had his eyes there that night too. Paul Bearer
You
showed
better
up.
believe. You
Yeah.
better believe he had his eyes there. A lot of people had their eyes there. He wasn't the only one. So did TBS. So did some of the others. Just like I say, I could have been something, as Marlon Brando said in On the Waterfront.
No, you know, it's funny you guys talk 'cause as you guys are speaking. I'm thinking to myself, they had their eyes in. Maybe if it was hitting, they would have been like, "Hey, you know what? I'll fund this a little bit because we can get something out of this."
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
before we call it a night, first of all, again, what you guys both have done for the industry as a fan, and that's what Jimmy and I are. We thank you both. You've
Thank
made
you.
a difference in this industry. I do have to ask both of you this though. Dutch Mantel, you brought him up. He's become the podcast darling of the internet. People love him. I personally, as a wrestling fan, never thought he was a good wrestler. I hear he had a great wrestling mind. I don't really think he had that either. Again, I'm just a fan.
Here we go.
But since you knew him, set me straight or tell me if I'm right. Dutch Mantel, am I right or wrong?
I don't know that
vote-
much about him. Go ahead, Fred.
I vote with Monty. I think he's good. I think he's good for setting the table, but he's not the guy to serve the meal.
Mm.
He helped trim the fat that night for sure.
Definitely. They're
But
not all negative. A lot of talent in that man. Right person in the wrong role sometimes. If he hadn't been there, nobody would have rescued the commentary whatsoever.
no, it would have been
Nobody. So for that, he deserves a battle ribbon. He earned it. Well done, Dutch.
But I laugh when people say, "Oh, he's got a great mind for wrestling." It's fucking wrestling. What kind of great mind are you supposed to have? All you need is talent, and somebody will write this. Well, here's the ending. Here's the storyline. There's no great mind. He ain't curing
Right.
cancer. It's a wrestling match.
Right.
Here-
Right, Mike.
Jake Roberts, it comes down to this. Jake Roberts wanted to steal the heat. He wanted to steal the heat from colleagues. And in doing so, he cost them, I'll say it again one last time, a significant amount of money and a future where maybe, just maybe, they could have gone out there as they got older and had a steady source. Because you're right, they're independent contractors. Come on, Bruce Beefcake, a part-time change maker on the Boston MTA subway system? It's not like these guys squirreled it away into 401ks, etc. So they
Right.
needed the money. They needed the money.
Jimmy?
And thank you for your comments, because even Bruno was a fan. Nikolai was a fan. They all start out as fans. And I swear till this day, Bruno's death, I think, took part of Nikolai, because he died just a couple months later. And Bruno died April, Nikolai died in July, and that really took him down. Everybody starts out, well, 99% are fans. You have to love it.
Right.
Here's the real obvious question as we discuss this and we draw this to an end. How close are you guys to Dark Side of the Ring doing something about something on this event?
You have my phone line tapped?
That's
Nikita,
pretty funny.
I defer to the constable. Former constable.
She doesn't speak the English.
All right. One last thought while I have you guys here.
Wait, you let him off the hook. We're about to break breaking news because obviously they're speaking to the people from Dark Side. So, you know,
Yeah, but
both are mum.
But they're
Let's
being
just say
very,
there's
like,
been talk and we're open to further discussion.
okay.
Excellent.
All right. Mike will be ready to watch that at least 17 times, right, Mike?
Absolutely.
You know, one last thought about Vince McMahon, and I want to see your take on this. I laugh sometimes when I hear, how the evil Vince McMahon took all the territories and was able to buy them and blah blah blah. When I believe in my heart that he might have been the biggest shark with the biggest vision and the most money and the execution to do it. But I always felt that the territories themselves, if they could eat the other territory next to them, they would. So
Yeah.
wasn't it dog eat dog between promoters, and Vince just happened to
Yes.
be the biggest shark at the end of the day?
Fred said it earlier about Dennis Carluzzo. The show, Fred, at the Annapolis Arena in Baltimore, I helped Dennis get that started.
Yeah.
What happened? Promoters put out information, the show's canceled, tear down posters, bad
Right.
mouth that you're not going to get paid. Yeah,
Right.
they cut
Right.
each other's throats from day one. That's why WWF broke away from the NWA, started there because they couldn't
Right.
fucking get along business-wise.
They were
Do you
so
guys
busy sabotaging each other that they never saw Junior coming.
Right. There you go, Mike.
Wow.
There it is, right
There
there.
it is.
He was smarter. He had a broad vision that he obviously can. Look, every corner of the world now knows who the WWE are, so he knew what he was doing.
And he
At
had
the
the
end of the
balls because every dime
He
was
did.
riding on it on
right.
WrestleMania 1. If it
That's right.
failed, you wouldn't know Vince McMahon's name anymore, believe me.
Well, with that, guys, incredible. Again, American heroes, both of you. And
Thank
again,
you.
thank you for your service. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
9/11. Thank you for serving this country, Nikita. Thank you for what you've done for wrestling fans. And
Thank you.
again, you guys should be very proud of what you've both accomplished. I want to thank you again for joining Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
It's been an honor.
Yes, honor and a pleasure and a privilege. Thank you.
Hopefully we talk soon, gents. We'll talk
Yes.
soon. God bless.
Okay. God bless.
Be well, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Jimmy, pretty incredible, right?
It's one of those that I'll probably watch 3 or 4 times. I don't make a habit
Dude,
of that, but
my God. It's
Yeah.
like, look, we knew Nikita, right? I was always impressed by Nikita.
it's been a while since we talked to Nikita, but of course I remember. But
Well, he's appeared on Dan and Benny, and I always tell Benny, like, I always love when Nikita's on because he's such a great listen. And
of course.
God, fucking Fred, man. My
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said before you started the show, and it wasn't an insult by any means whatsoever. There are guys that are not Bruno Sammartino, that are not Superstar Graham, whoever, that have just as many amazing memories from their vantage point. And that's what we saw tonight. That was fantastic.
Dude, I mean, I look, that 9/11 story blew me away, bro. I mean, I got to be 100% honest.
Look, that's why when you think about it, of all the people that live in New York, how many people were doing I hate using the word cleanup. It's a removal. Whatever they were doing, a tiny speck of our population was doing that. Those were the kind of people, you always talk about who you want in a foxhole with you.
Mm.
Those are the kind of people you want in a foxhole with you.
Analyze this one for me, and I found this very interesting too. So, again, we only touched the surface, but it seemed like Fred had this pretty close relationship with his father, and they were bonded by wrestling, whether Fred dragged his father into it. Nikita, also wrestling fan, had a terrible relationship with his father, which was not bonded by wrestling.
Right. Right.
To me, isn't it okay? I'm trying to get it across, but isn't it amazing how two people from kind of two different families,
Right. Right.
how wrestling drew them together? Wrestling, in a lot of ways, is kind of amazing. It's better than football. It's better than baseball in that kind of way. When you're a wrestling mind,
You know what? I'll give wrestling as a sport, because we still call it a sport. I
Sure,
know we
of
call it
course.
other things. Wrestling as a sport is just as special as baseball. It ties a relationship sometimes with a parent, or sometimes with a friend. How you doing, friend? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does what baseball does. It does what a good rock band does. When I think every single time I listen to Triumph, I think of you.
Sure.
You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
it's so funny. I was gonna
It's,
say every time I listen to the Police, I think of you. No
right,
matter what song it is, I'm
right,
like, God, it's fucking Jimmy
right.
right there.
Well,
Uh,
there it is. You
dude,
know,
I gotta, I, I very not very rarely, but I'm always it's a pleasure when you're moved by someone or
I'm mo-
you're out you're trying to think of the word, but like not in awe because I don't want to get too crazy about it, but it's like those two guys are fucking amazing, dude. I can't say enough about it. I could have sat there and listened to them speak for 5 hours and not have an
Oh
issue.
yeah, oh yeah. That could have easily gone a good 3+ hours, and I even my bad leg would not be bothering me. So that's
I will
you
tell
know
you
back
this.
to the bad leg.
You know,
Right.
again, Monte the Pharaoh, you know, again, we were born in a studio, right? We were different than everybody else. Obviously, you carried on with your life to Florida and the studio closed and I'm in another studio and we know that trial and tribulations here. But
Yeah.
this is the one type of interview I would have loved to have in studio. Um
Yeah, I mean, I think about the studio, but if I think about the studio, I start thinking about everything else
yeah, no, I hear you.
because
I got you.
it's all connected. Like Long Island, I think about even the old studio. I think about the pizza place I used to eat at the old studio
You know, the one
before I
thing
go
we
on.
didn't ask what
I
they
think
thought
about
about
you
we didn't ask about what they thought about AEW. There's so much more to ask about. And I got to tell you, the other thing I'm pretty impressed about too. I wanted to go back to Fred and his relationship with his father. So again, I don't know only what we heard, but there was a
right,
giving there. And you know what
right,
manifested from that giving and love, I think? Served this country, Vietnam. Fuck
right,
just Vietnam. He served this country, right?
right,
And
right,
when 9/11 hit, he risked his entire life. I mean, dude, we
right,
all know the sickness that came from helping people at 9/11, right? Those
right,
are real,
right.
you know, and Nikita, a police officer. These are real heroes, dude.
Right. And we already know about how good news doesn't pay it, any viewage on the internet. People don't care about good news. They were good people though, obviously. It's something that we all strive to be. I could never be that good. Like I said during the interview, they're in the pecking order. They served their country and they were cops. I mean, what
Well,
what am I
dude.
gonna
I
what
mean,
am I
look,
gonna say?
when
You know?
if you're dick measuring, I agree with you. You and me we're on that second level compared to those guys. And the other thing
Well,
is,
you served your country, you
but
stopped that,
it's not just that,
you
dude. It's
know?
like I think about it this way too. They just didn't do it in life, right? Look what they did for
Right,
wrestling. Look what they did for
right.
wrestling. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? I
right.
mean, these
Well,
guys. Good.
it takes everybody. That's the funny thing. At the end of the day, sure, we focus in on when we were kids, Morocco and Valentine in the ring. Do you know how many
Mm,
people it took to get that match prepared? You know
sure.
what I mean? That's why we talk to the people we just talked to because they're part of that machine.
But
You know?
I'll leave it with this. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's two guys. They have their dream. They're in wrestling, right?
Right.
Then they
Right.
finally, there's a gold chip out there, right? There's a guy with some money and he wants to promote wrestling,
Yeah.
and all they have to do is behave a certain way.
Right. And
And
they.
I'm gonna call it like I see it, right?
Right. Right.
A piece of shit like Jim Neidhart and Jake Roberts, like destroyed
Right.
people's dreams.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's like,
They did.
and think about it
Listen.
this way: fucking Tony Khan rewards a piece of shit like Jake Roberts
Right. Right.
with a
Of
fucking
course.
a lifetime contract.
Yeah, because this is life. I mean, come on. Mike was a good friend of ours, Mantar. I mean, I can't say that about too many people we've come across, but
Sure.
but Mike was a friend of ours, and we liked him. I don't throw love around, but shit, man. If I was gonna like love a dude for the friendship he is and
Yeah.
everything he is, yeah, man, he was fucking cool. You know, how did Scott Hall treat him? How did he
Mm,
treat him? He
mm.
treated him like shit. He hazed the fuck out of him, and he made sure he stayed at the bottom of the card. The guy in real life probably could have took Scott Hall and turned his whole head backwards, you know, and he got that raw end of the deal. So it's like, you know, it seems like that's what happens. Unfortunately, it happens a lot in wrestling. You know, I don't know how much it happens in other
You know,
areas.
it goes back to the first show. People panicking because of the hurricane, so they decide they're not taking their dog. So instead of trying to do something or help the dog, they
Right.
lock it, tie it to a tree so it
Right.
fucking drowns.
Uh,
I mean, Jake Roberts is no different than the fucking guy tying a dog to the fucking tree.
I got to be honest. If I'm Nikita, you know, Breshikov, or if I'm, you know, Fred the ref, I'm not saying shit either that night. I want to keep my job. I'm not going up against.
I'm not faulting them for
No,
not
I'm
saying
not saying
anything.
you are. I'm saying it from myself.
I'm going to tell you
know,
who
stuff
I'm
that I just said.
faulting, and I
ain't
was
saying
trying to
shit.
get that point across these two guys.
Right.
This is like, and you started the right way. It's like we came in here as fans, we meet these people, and the majority of them are good people, right? The wrestlers I'm talking about.
Yeah, they
But
are.
we've seen enough of the bullshit working all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
You're a wrestler. You sign a deal. You know Jim Neidhart.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you don't say anything.
And then
Where's
they got
your human decency,
Well,
you fucking asshole?
They got the balls to pull that shit too. What's Jim Neidhart thinking? He's the ultimate warrior. I want $1,000 more. Fuck you. Get the fuck out there. You signed a contract.
Yeah, and again,
You know?
you know what? He knew better. You know why? Jim Neidhart wasn't stupid, right? He knew that everybody was panicking at that point. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that just shows the morality of a lot of these fucking guys. They have no
Right.
fucking moral fiber,
Right.
man.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, who does that shit?
You see, you know what? It's funny. You say, you know, he wasn't stupid. He took advantage of the situation. Guess what? After what you just said, he doesn't sound very smart to me. Sounds like a stupid ass that pulled a fast one. You
Yeah,
know?
just fucking took advantage of
Look,
another fucking situation.
We've had that happen to us about, like, way too many times with bookings. We've had people pull that shit on us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
You know, and then I think about his wife. Like, say, Neidhart gets home and he goes, "Hey, honey, guess what? I got another $1,000. Oh, great job! Way to take advantage of those people."
Right.
I mean, where's the moral
Right.
fiber of any of these
You
fucking
know,
people,
and
man?
I'll tell you this one thing about it. I didn't get a chance to tell them this, but here's a fact that, you know, people can hate the pay-per-view and talk shit about it all they dude, it's a quarter of a century later and we're still talking about that pay-per-view.
Oh, dude, this is definitely going dark side of the ring.
So how about that?
I'm like, that's got to be a
It
dark side of the
should.
ring episode. Absolutely.
It should, and I
And
hope
then
it's
and
I
then,
hope a lot
dark
of it's
side
from-
could go pay Jake as he smokes a cigarette with his fucking
Right.
his
That-
oxygen in his fucking
by
nose
the
and go,
way-
I was
by the
just
way-
fucking.
Yeah. By the way, that he'll show up for.
Oh,
by
fuck
the
yeah.
way.
Come on,
But
please.
you know, how many times did we have him booked with the song and dance?
Remember that
you
time
know?
I approached him when he didn't show up? He's like, brother, I didn't know it.
Yeah,
Fuck
well,
you, dude.
the last time he blamed the agent. Oh, it's the agent's fault. Blah blah blah. No,
It's
it's
not
your
my
fucking
fault.
fault. Yeah, it's never his fault. I mean, I think Fred said that tonight. It's never Jake's fault.
I'll tell you what,
So.
though Jake Roberts or Jim Neidhart, well, Jim Neidhart's gone now, but
Right.
they're not half the men those two guys are. So in the
Yeah,
end,
well-
who wins anyway? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Those guys
Exactly.
win. Those fucking
Yeah.
assholes. All right,
Yeah.
listen, I'm going to send us out. I'm going to play a little AEW video because I know how much
Oh.
you love AEW, and then I'll do the
well,
outro. So you want to
okay.
send us out after this marathon of a show, literally an hour and a half. And I got
Wow.
to tell you, again, I
made
could have listened to those guys for another 3 hours. So
They were fantastic. Well, you have been watching Monte and the Pharaoh with a bad back. See, there's that bad back again.
feel better, bro.
Yeah, I hope so. And now stay tuned for the Mark Tony Khan and his Mark Company. Until next time. Later.
Put me out of my misery!